I am so thrilled to celebrate that The Ambition Studio is celebrating 10 years in business. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how excited I am. 10 years as a Black woman-owned business. Hi, everyone. Queirra Fenderson here, the founder and CEO of The Ambition Studio, an award-winning coaching firm helping high-achieving women redefine work-life balance. I'm an ambitious Capricorn, balancing entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, friendships, and my own personal growth, just like you. And I am so thrilled to celebrate that The Ambition Studio is celebrating 10 years in business. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you how excited I am. 10 years as a Black woman-owned business. The average is 5, twice as long. And you all, this has been such an incredible journey. It has been a journey from early stage beginner's luck to a game-changing $15,000 decision I had to make in business, from navigating years of IVF motherhood and that journey to thriving through a pandemic when a lot of businesses didn't make it. This journey has taught me so much about myself, what it takes to build a business, build resiliency, find balance. And every single time, with every single lesson, I'm incorporating it back into the company, back into the clients that we serve, back into the coaches that we train to help serve our clients. Balance has been the thing that has kept me moving and actually resting when the times got tough and when the times were absolutely abundant. And so, this is exactly why we are launching this series called 10 Years Strong, 10 Lessons Learned as a Black Woman-Owned Business. Oh, gosh, I'm so excited. So, today's lesson is all about trusting your intuition in your life, in your career, or in your business, or all three, anywhere, just being able to trust your intuition because it's telling us the direction to go. And oftentimes we're not practiced in listening. And I have the best story to illustrate this point because it has given me a business for 10 years. So let me take you back 10 years ago. So I graduated with a marketing degree and had a marketing professional career for 10 years in corporate, nonprofit, tech sectors until I was 29 years old and had made this promise to myself that said I would become a director by the time I was 30. And it was really ambitious at that point because there were no directors at my company that were that young at that time. And by 29 years old, I had checked it off of my list. I was the youngest director in the company, and I was climbing that corporate ladder like a pro. I was also a pro at ignoring the stress-induced muscle spasms, getting home really late, feeling like a roommate with my fiance. I focused on the prize and told myself, Queirra, sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to succeed. And succeed I did because I'll never forget when I landed my dream job at this tech company. It was venture backed, it was startup, it was in the heart of Washington, D.C. It was exactly what my little entrepreneurial spirit needed, but was too afraid to take the risk on my own to do. So I compromised and said, okay, let me bring my skills to a startup venture-backed tech firm so that I can learn the ins and outs. So when I'm ready, I can step out properly. Well, God had something else in mind because after working there for about 3 months and noticing all these different disconnects around my leadership style or how I was taught professionalism or just how I ran a company, I quickly started to notice that something was off. But I had worked almost a year to get this job. There was no way that I was going to quit. And I later found out that wasn't up to me. I'll never forget the November Wednesday morning when I had walked into the office and attempted to have a conversation with my superior. Things had kind of been off for us for a couple of weeks, and we were really trying to figure out our rhythm. When I was in a meeting with one of my colleagues, I remember her sitting there watching our supervisor come over and bring me out of the meeting. Queirra, can I speak to you for a minute? So we start walking to the only private office in the entire office place, which is like this little closet in the back corner. And you knew that if you were going into this little closet in the back corner, you were either recording a podcast or you were having a serious conversation. And I didn't have any podcasts on my calendar that day. And so as I walk into the office, there were two chairs sitting in a face off. And the CEO was leaning against the wall with his arms crossed like this. Queirra, please take a seat, he said. As I sat down, I started to notice that this was a very serious conversation. My supervisor sat in the other seat across from me, and with hesitation and mumble in their voice, the CEO, who was leaning against the wall like this, said, Queirra, today is your last day. Those words just bounced off the walls. They haunted me. They filled me with rage. They filled me with confusion. How in the world can an ambitious woman like me be getting fired from my dream job? On what grounds? You're not a good cultural fit, they said. Well, we won't go into how that really feels as a Black woman, the only Black woman in the entire company. But I will say that there were enough signs and symbols and hints along the way that I could have listened to. And those are what I call your intuitive pebbles. Every moment where I was disagreeing with the supervisor, I could feel that there was a little pebble of, I don't know if this is the right fit. Every time a direct report or another person from a different department would come to me and air their grievances, and I felt like I didn't really have a place to go or how to support them, that was a pebble saying, I don't know if this is the right fit. When we would do staff retreats and people were popping open beers at like 3 o'clock, and I was still trying to finish up this report and work till 5, I could feel that it wasn't a good fit, but my ego took over. Instead of honoring what my intuition was trying to tell me, I hunkered down and said, I'm not leaving. And so sometimes your intuition's going to throw pebbles, and then you're going to get hit by a brick. Now, let me say, I tend to be a little hard-headed, so I get hit with bricks at times. That brick moment was when I got fired from my job. But if I hadn't gotten fired from the job, I wouldn't have been propelled into entrepreneurship like I was supposed to be anyway. And so, wherever you are, if you feel like you just experienced a brick moment, whether it's losing your job or losing a big client, if it wasn't getting that promotion or still hunting for that ideal job, anything around maybe even your love life or your relationships, those are not bad. They're course redirections. And if you're willing to take the next couple of steps I'll tell you about, you'll get there so much quicker than if you were to resist your intuition. And so I just want to remind you that sometimes you're going to get hit with little pebbles. Just please pay attention to them before they turn into bricks. Okay, so here I am, fired, unemployed on a Wednesday morning in November. I remember sitting in my garage, not wanting to go into the house just because, like, if I'm in the house on a Wednesday, and mind you, this was pre-pandemic, then that really means I don't have a job. And I'm sitting there thinking, and then it got really silent. And I swear to you, I could hear God say, Queirra, you will not go back. It was as clear as day. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I know what I'm going to do. I'm not going back. She goes, well, then where are you going? And I said, listen, I'm a damn good marketer. I'll start a marketing consultancy. And that's where my focus was. I was so focused on that new direction and that commitment. It felt like a commitment that I was never returning back to the 9 to 5 rat race that had burned me out and hadn't kept me safe. I thought that if I kept achieving and performing, that I was untouchable. But in actuality, every job is temporary. And so as I embarked on the next 2 to 3 months of really digging into building a marketing consultancy online, I stumbled upon coaching. There was a woman who had a marketing coaching company, and one thing led to another, and next thing I know, I'm on a Zoom call, maybe it was Skype back then, with a coach who happened to just have coffee dates in the morning. So I'm talking to her about this thing called coaching because I found out that it's not just a profession where you're teaching someone how to do something you've done. Coaching, professional coaching, is actually regulated by the International Coach Federation. There's assessments, continued education credits you have to keep up with, actual credentials and levels. There's accredited programs. There's a whole science and methodology behind it, including ethical guidelines. I was intrigued because I felt like, okay, this is something that's legit. I don't want to just create some type of online business. I have no idea if I can sustain it outside of being online. I want a real profession that's going to change lives. She said, Queirra, sounds like you might be a good coach. If you're interested in learning more, a program that I participated in, they're actually a nationwide program. They are completing their enrollment this Saturday, and I think they may have one or two spots left in the Washington, D.C. area. Are you interested? Sure, why not? She goes, well, here's the catch. For this cohort, and they only run the cohort once a year because it's a full year program, Saturday is the last day to enroll. Saturday is the last day to enroll, and it was Friday morning. I'll never forget that. Oh my gosh, when she said that. And I was like, all right, well, let's do it. Mind you, I'm home by myself. My husband's at work, and I'm just exploring. I'm just getting curious to be like, all right, well, let's see what's next. Connect me with the enrollment person. So I speak to the enrollment person, and that's when she told me that this program is $16,000. Mind you, I'm on unemployment, okay? It's only been a couple of months, and this marketing consultancy thing didn't really blow up anywhere. And so she said, but if you put your deposit down now, $500, you have an opportunity to pay monthly and get hired by clients to pay your tuition. I'm not promising you that that always works, but we have had students who were able to work the program, learn how to be a coach, and get hired by clients at the same time, and it covered their tuition. All you need is $500. And I'm gonna tell you something about me. At this point, what else did I have to lose? I was on unemployment. I was trying to stand up this marketing consultancy, reaching out to people that I knew, wasn't getting a lot of traction. And so I told her I'd give her a call back, and I waited and thought, and really felt into my intuition to ask myself, who did I need to speak to? Who did I know that would be enough of a risk taker, but also balanced logical thinking to help me make this decision? And I knew not to go to my spouse or my mom. And let me tell you why. They are excellent supporters, of course, and there's nothing wrong with them at all. However, at this time, they were rooting for me and my safety, comfort, and next big thing. But if you speak to people who are not always as risk tolerant, they're going to say the thing that they think is the best solution to keep you safe. They want to see you safe and they want to see you happy. And so being cautiously optimistic would be the best way to go. For some reason, my grandmother just felt like she would give it to me straight, not to worry about it at all, has faith in me. And I don't know, I just gave her a call. And I told her about what coaching was, and she asked me two questions. She said, is this an up and coming profession? Do you feel confident about this profession? I said, yes. And she said, and do you have the money for the deposit? And I said, yeah, I'll take it out of my savings, but I could do it. And she said, okay. Well, I remember a time, and this is back in my grandma's day, where she had an opportunity to go into computers. And at the time, her spouse, my grandfather, wasn't too keen on that. He really liked where she worked at the time, and I think he felt like it was too big of a risk. And so she said she always regretted going to him first and not making a decision on her own because she knew that with how big computers are now, she would have had a completely different career future. So she told me to go ahead and enroll in the program. And then when my spouse came home, tell him later. And so I did. Oh my gosh. I whipped out my credit card. I paid that deposit, and I showed up to that program the very next day in person to embark on a 12-year journey, 12-month journey. And that brings me to lesson number two. Curiosity clears up any confusion. If I hadn't gotten curious about what this marketing coaching thing and hadn't taken the next step to schedule this time with this coach and ask certain questions and just hear about what the enrollment details were and then see who I knew that might be in support of a wild and crazy idea, I would have never gotten the clarity that I would be a really great coach and enroll in this program. Anytime that you feel like you don't know what direction to go in, pay attention to what you're curious about. Go Google it. Go ask someone. You never know where you're being led. And that's the thing about intuition. Intuition is pulling you forward. It's calling you forth. Fear is the thing that holds you back. Fear is the thing that slows you down. But when you're curious about, hey, what's next? Wonder if I could try this out. What would this person say if I asked them out? Whatever the question may be, right? Curiosity is the thing that's going to start showing you different answers, peeling back the layers of the onion. And it's a really big tenet of what we practice with coaching, because with coaching, when you're curious, you open up a lot more possibilities, and you don't have to be attached to what you find. You don't have to commit to what you find. You just want to know that there's a lot of options for you to choose from. And so I can't stress this enough. If you really want to learn to strengthen your intuition, especially when things are uncertain or they may feel a little fuzzy, get curious. Even sit with somebody, have a partner ask you a lot of open-ended questions just to get curious about what other options are out there besides what you can only see. All right, so where are we in the story? So I enroll in the program, and the task was to get clients throughout the program so that I could pay for my tuition. And let me tell you something, there's a different type of hustle that happens when you have to get paid clients to also practice on. So just for background, you can't be a certified coach unless you have a certain number of coaching hours under your belt. The highest level is master certified coach, and that's 2,500 coaching hours. Then it goes to professional certified coach. That's what I currently am at. That's what this little thing is here. And then there's associate certified coach. They're always improving the credentials and the requirements. So you can go to the International Coach Federation to learn more about what the specific requirements are for each level. But it's really important to be able to pass assessments, have those coaching hours, and graduate from an accredited program in order to get your credential. And I needed both. I needed paid coaching clients, and I need to graduate from that program by paying my tuition. Let's just say it was the motivation I needed, because by the end of those 12 months, I was one of only two individuals in our class that certified with the International Coach Federation. It was a huge accomplishment, huge. And it really was a testament of paying attention and staying the course, being committed to what I said I was going to do in the beginning. I knew that in order to graduate from this program, I had to have paying clients. But also by having paying clients, I was giving them the best coaching skills I had at every single time. Now, of course, they knew that I was in a coaching training program, so there was grace, but there also was so much commitment to delivering value because they had exchanged their hard-earned money for my support. And so there were definitely some results that were created. There were goals that were hit from my side and from their side. And I'm very proud to say that I graduated with the professional certified coach requirements and uphold that credential to this day, 10 years later. So, lesson number three is stay the course. After you get curious and you find something that really works, you take that leap of faith, keep going. Like, honestly, keep going. I can't explain to you how many times throughout these past 10 years I've wanted to quit the business. It was so challenging at so many different levels. The feast or famine cycles, the times where I had a humongous big opportunity or the most amazing keynote speaking engagement, coupled with the heartache of going through the IVF journey or trying to navigate cash flow issues, and team development challenges. Just completely stepping into motherhood during a pandemic alone. It's been challenging. It has stretched me in a way that I would have never imagined. And I'll make another video on this, but entrepreneurial mindset is key. We often think that we need to know the right way and know the steps, but it's really about your mindset. It's really about your mindset. I can't reinforce this enough. If you don't have support around keeping an abundant, positive mindset, you will fail. And you only fail if you quit. Did you hear me? You only fail if you quit. And so if quitting is an option, you will fail. The reason I'm in business 10 years later is because I refuse to quit at every turn, at every pivot, at every success. And that's what I want to share with you. When our intuition has guided us, has shown us paths of clarity, has allowed us to take risks that have paid off, please show that you are listening back by never quitting, washing and repeating, getting curious about what your next step can be, taking risks, being open to trying. So, lesson 3 again is please stay the course. You will never, ever fail if you never quit. Look, getting fired was one of the hardest pills to swallow as a high achieving woman. It hit my ego in ways that I never could imagine. But looking back, I'm so grateful for the lessons that really changed my life. Like, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I trust the process. I think that every single thing that somebody says is a coincidence is actually just your intuition throwing little pebbles. And you better listen to them. Because I've walked so many people through brick moments and pebble moments as well as myself. And I know those bricks hurt, but you still got to come up from somewhere. Your intuition is going to guide you no matter what. So you might as well listen to the pebbles. The other thing about losing my job that I really embrace as a lesson is getting curious. I would have never thought that I would have gone from being a director of marketing to pivoting into coaching high achieving women on how to protect their sanity and find balance and embrace their ambition in a way that wasn't going to engulf them in their identity and their worthiness. I really, really had no idea that that was even in me, but that's who I am to my core. I resonate and understand that struggle, and there's so many of us. And so I'm so grateful that I got curious about what other things were out there and learned about this profession. And here I am 10 years later. The third lesson I would say is the power of starting small, like micro actions and building that momentum, right? When I first had to start getting clients, I was operating just from a commitment. I had no idea how I was going to make it happen. And I just started calling people, telling people what I was up to, seeing if people were interested. It was that simple. And one call led to another call, led to another call. And then those calls led to sample sessions. And then those sample sessions led to coaching packages. And then those coaching packages turned into lifelong relationships with clients and friends now. So don't underestimate the power of starting small and building momentum, because that momentum will become unstoppable and you'll never, ever quit. These lessons can apply to any setback in your life, your business, your career. Just know that using my intuition has been the most impactful skill that I've used to strengthen this business for the past 10 years. So think about it. How much are you paying attention to your intuition? Like on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being who? What? Ignoring her? What's an intuition? To 10 being like, oh, she's sitting right here. That's my best friend. How much are you paying attention to her? And let's say you're paying attention to her, right? Maybe it's like at an 8. But how much are you acting on what she's saying? See, that's the biggest piece. I had all the pebbles the first time and didn't act on them. The second time I had all the pebbles and I moved my butt. I spoke to that coach. I enrolled in the program. I started to call people for clients, right? So think about it. How much are you paying attention to your intuition? And then how often are you acting on your intuition? I really would love to hear what your relationship is like with your intuition, what other thoughts you might have, or any insights you gathered from this video. Just share them in the comments and I'll be sure to check in with you. And listen, if you're looking for personalized support, go ahead and head over to theambitionstudio.com. Our coaching programs are specifically designed for any stage of your life, for any dilemma you're challenged with, or if you're just completely ready to overhaul how you're living so that you're experiencing a better work-life balance. Ambition is like my love. I love the smell of fresh ambition in the morning, as long as it's balanced. Thanks for watching. If this video inspired you, hit the like and subscribe button for more real-life strategies to balance your ambitious drive with your well-being. And remember, your intuition is your best friend if you listen to her. Thanks for watching.